order, and we do our pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item is approval of the board agenda.
Make a motion to approve the full agenda.
Motion,
Second.
second.
And I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Nancy Williamson. Kevin Byrd. Dr. Danny Cross. Mark Matthews. And Dorothy Watson.
The board agenda is approved. Next item is approval of the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion, second.
And I will do a roll call. Dr. Danny Cross.
Aye.
Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
Kevin Byrd.
Aye.
Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
And Mark Matthews.
Consent agenda is approved. The next item is special appearance before the board. House Executive Director, Dr. Dale Lynch.
May I approach?
Yes.
Okay. Is this okay right here?
Anyway.
I bring greetings from the Tennessee Organization of School Superintendents, and before I share with you why I am here to talk a little bit about your director of schools, your superintendent, I've had the opportunity for the last 6 years to serve as executive director at TOSS. And I think this might be the first time that I've had a chance to go across the state of Tennessee and present an award when the previous TOSS executive director decided to show up too, along with other school superintendents or directors here in the front. So I would say this is a pretty big event tonight for Oneida Special School District. You know, I had a couple of them say to me, you make sure you tell the truth about Dr. Phillips and you share, and don't you worry, I'm going to do the best, okay? But before I do that, I want to say thank you to this staff. The administrators, the supervisors, all the teachers here getting ready for a big year. And I can tell you right now that I feel the love in this school district because of the folks that you have here. I've seen more hugs, I think, in the last 15 minutes than I've seen in a long time. So kudos to you for making sure that you take care of your kids in the right way. And again, before I share about your director of schools, I want to say thank you on behalf of TOSS for your school board. Your service and your leadership is greatly appreciated by superintendents in Tennessee. There's 145 directors, 145 superintendents, and we know we couldn't do our work if you didn't do your work. It's so important that you understand your role and we understand our role. And when that happens, good things happen for boys and girls. So I want to say thank you. We appreciate your service. Thank you for always being willing to serve the kids here in Oneida. And now the reason that I came. Jeannie, would you please stand next to me for just a second?
I'm excited. I'm also excited that everybody's here. I had no clue.
As well you should be.
Super excited.
So I want you to stand right here for just a second, if you would, please. I think this, without question, is probably the highest award that one can receive as a superintendent or director of schools, because it comes from their peers. You know, I've had the opportunity now to go across the state, and this is next to the last visit that I will make. But I assure you that I don't think there's anybody in Tennessee that has the respect and appreciation of their colleagues more than Dr. Jeannie Phillips. So I would tell you that it is an honor for me to be here tonight. 2024, the East Tennessee Superintendent of the Year, Dr. Jeannie Phillips, Oneida Special School District, in which you should be proud. This is presented to Jeannie Phillips from the Tennessee Organization of School Superintendents. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you.
You are very welcome.
Thank you.
We're very pleased that you were able to come.
Thank you.
It is an honor. I think this is the first East District Superintendent that Oneida has had, right? Do you know?
Sure.
And now on with the board meeting. The first item is the OSSD strategic plan. This is 21 through 26, but we approve it every year. Do I hear a motion that we approve this strategic plan for this year?
Make that motion.
Motion,
Second.
second.
Now we'll do roll call. Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
Dr. Danny Cross.
Aye.
Mark Matthews.
Aye.
Kevin Byrd.
Aye.
And Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Motion approved. Next item is the 2023-2024 supplemental assignment list. It lists all the supplements and the amount that they received. Do I hear a motion to approve this year's supplemental assignment list?
Make a motion to approve this year's supplemental list. Second.
Motion second.
Now we'll do roll call. Mark Matthews.
Aye.
Kevin Byrd.
Aye.
Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
And Dr. Danny Cross.
Motion carries. The supplemental assignments are approved. Item C is the differentiated pay plan. This is something the state implemented several years ago, and of course, this is to keep us in compliance. Do I hear a motion that we approve the supplemental pay plan?
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Now we'll do roll call. Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
Kevin Byrd.
Aye.
Mark Matthews.
Aye.
Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
And Dr. Danny Cross.
Motion carries. The next item is the non-certified pay scale. It has been amended. Do I hear a motion that we approve this amended supplemental non-certified employee pay scale?
I make that motion to approve the non-certified pay scale.
Motion,
Second.
second.
And I will do roll call. Mark Matthews.
Aye.
Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
Dr. Danny Cross.
Aye.
Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
And Kevin Byrd.
Aye.
The pay scale is approved. The next item is the school district safety plans. If you notice, you have a little jump drive. This is the one item that we can keep private, because it is the school safety plan that does not need to be out anywhere for anyone to see. So it's strictly for us to have and to know and not to share in any way. But we've discussed it several times at the advisory council. We've done things. We've got Jason Perry here. He's head of our SROs, and everything we're trying to follow exactly what the governor is saying we need to do. So do I hear a motion we approve our school district safety plans?
I make a motion, we approve our school district safety plans.
Second.
Motion second.
Now we'll do roll call. Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
Dr. Danny Cross.
Aye.
Mark Matthews.
Aye.
And Kevin Byrd.
Motion carries. The next item is memorandums of understanding. These are just what we do year after year. Western Governors University, Tennessee State Special Schools, and the LEA Benefits Administration. Do I hear a motion we approve these memorandums of understanding?
I make a motion to approve these MOUs.
Motion's been made.
Now we'll do roll call. Kevin Byrd.
Aye.
Dr. Danny Cross.
Aye.
Mark Matthews.
Aye.
Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
And Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
Motion carries. Our next item is board policy, and we want to do this one on the first and second reading, simply because here again, we're trying to follow what the governor's dictating on designated school entrances. And since our children came today, we've got to get this policy in place. So the school entrances policy, we need to approve tonight on first reading and second reading. I've been through it, it's very plain, very, straightforward. What doors will be open when, at what buildings. And of course, Mr. Perry can enlighten anybody that has any questions about it. Do I hear a motion that we approve this board policy on first and second reading?
Motion. Second.
Motion second.
Now we'll do roll call. Dr. Danny Cross.
Aye.
Mark Matthews.
Aye.
Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
Kevin Byrd. And Dorothy Watson.
Motion carries. Our next item is a list of PSBA policies that they did. We're doing the policy audit, which is a service of PSBA. This will be on the first reading. These are section 2 finances. There's very little change, few words changed. The one thing was, on a bid, it's moved from 50,000 down to 25,000, which I didn't quite understand. They shifted that back and forth 2 or 3 times. But that was the major difference in the 2 policies. And of course, they do this audit after the legislature is finished and they get all the new laws. But these 13 policies, will be on first reading. This is section 2.
I make a motion we approve these 13 policies on first reading.
Motion?
Second.
Second?
Now we'll do roll call. Mark Matthews.
Aye.
Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
Kevin Byrd. Dr. Danny Cross.
Aye.
And Dorothy Watson.
Motion carries. The next item is board policy salary deductions, and this is one that this is on the first reading. It will be deleted from our policies. Do I hear a motion that we approve this policy deletion, salary deductions?
I'll make a motion to approve this policy deletion.
Motion?
And I will do roll call. Mark Matthews.
Aye.
Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
Kevin Byrd. And Dr. Danny Cross.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next section is the audit again of, section 1 that we did we approved it last, month on the first reading. This is the section of, section 1, second reading, and there's 27 of these policies that deals with, school boards and board members. Do I hear a motion we approve these audited policies on second reading?
I make a motion we approve these 27 policies on second reading.
Motion?
Second.
Second?
And I will do a roll call. Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
Kevin Byrd. Dr. Danny Cross.
Aye.
Mark Matthews.
Aye.
And Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye. Motion carries. The next item is another deletion. This is second reading. News releases, news conferences, and interviews. This was a change, some changes from the other policy, but it's totally deleted now. Do I hear a motion we approve this second reading deletion?
Motion.
Motion?
Second.
Second?
And I will do a roll call. Dr. Danny Cross.
Aye.
Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
Kevin Byrd. Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
And Mark Matthews.
Motion carries. Next item is contract with Jim Birchfield. This is to help maintain grounds and perform duties as directed.
Motion.
Motion. Busy.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Raise.
The next item is permission to utilize the co-op agreements for purchases. This is a state, co-op. Do I hear a motion we approve the state, the, co-op agreements for purchases. Motion?
Second.
Now we'll do roll call. Mark Matthews.
Aye.
Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
Kevin Byrd. Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
And Dr. Danny Cross.
The next item is letter of resignation. Is it Richard? Richard Strunt is resigning as an assistant boys soccer coach.
I make a motion we accept this letter of resignation.
Second.
And I will do roll call. Dr. Danny Cross.
Aye.
Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
Mark Matthews.
Aye.
Kevin Byrd. And Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item is Little Caesars Big Pizza Kit fundraiser. And t-shirts and sweatshirts fundraiser from the middle school night club. The Little Caesars Pizza is the middle school cooking club. Can I hear a motion we approve these fundraisers?
Motion.
Second.
Now we'll do a roll call. Dorothy Watson.
Aye.
Mark Matthews.
Aye.
Dr. Danny Cross. Dr. Nancy Williamson.
Aye.
And Kevin Byrd.
Motion carries. And that is all the business before the board. We have the director of schools report.
And first of all, I'd like to thank Bill Lynch for coming. I know you all don't realize this, but he has a lot of school districts that he manages, and for him to take the time out to come, that's an amazing thing. Thank you, Dale, from us at Oneida.
Thank you all for allowing me, thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. As you can tell, the second section of the policy audit has came back. If you have questions on any of that, you'll let me know. We can definitely work on anything regarding that. I have some great news. Dr. McCart was able to secure the healthcare resiliency program grant, and that's $485,755. So that's definitely going to help us in other areas. So make sure you thank Dr. McCart for that. She'll explain that more in detail in her report. We also have a couple of MOUs that are not back yet. One of them is stand, and the reason that we don't have it to approve is because Dr. McCart is also working on another grant for that, and we really can't do an MOU until we figure out exactly what those stipulations are going to be. So as soon as we get that, we'll get that MOU on the board agenda. But just so you know, Stan will still be working in school, still doing everything. Trent assured me, no matter what, he's gonna be there, and no matter what, we will pay them whether we get the grant or not. So just wanna make sure everybody understands that, so. And because of the additional money, I appreciate y'all allowing us to, change the salaries on the non-certified. Employee handbooks are in your packets to review, so, if you have any questions on that, just kinda let us know. That was also done by CSBA actually a couple years ago, so we're still good on that. I know a lot of people have asked about the middle school sewer issues. Well, thankfully, we dug up a floor, right, Ms. Chitwood, and now everything is back. But I can tell you that has been an issue since I've been employed here. So hopefully it's gonna be better. But yes, the floor was completely ripped up. As far as another thing that may come to you guys is adult lunches. The price will increase this year. I know Kathy's here, but honestly, $3.50 will be the cost. It is an increase, but you can't go get lunch anywhere for $3.50. So, the cost of food is just a lot. So, Kathy really does a good job with trying to keep the prices down. I promise you, compared to other school districts. Is that not right?
I'm fine.
Yeah. Other things that you need to be aware of is the Nursing Mothers Act, the PUMP Act, and the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. I've got that information. We are working with PSBA on those procedures and stuff. But I think that's gonna be a great thing for our staff, but just know that there will be changes. I know you heard that at the law conference, but just kind of putting that out there, some of those things are starting to be released. And I know all the directors of schools sitting here are trying their best to work on that and figure out what we need to do. So, that's kind of where we are with that. Another thing is denial of the temporary injunction, section 2, chapter 437, and that's just that, you know, we can no longer take out dues for PEA, so, and we're gonna do that, we're gonna follow that law. I know that's not anything that we wanted, but it is the law until that changes, so that's kinda where we are. So, obviously for the month of August, it's our first day of school. Thankfully, we had a great day, a great start. I need to hire the following people: Amy Mooring, Stephen Burris, Amanda Roberts, Anna Smith, Destiny Huckabee, Lisa Remington, Julie Baird, Kaylee Lay, Kira Richardson, Regina Sexton, Oneida Bowling, Shannon Baird, and Ashley Duncan. And thankfully, that's all I have for the board. So it's a good day, it's a good night, and it's a good start, so.
Sure is, thank you. Principal's reports, Jordan.
So we had meet and greet for back to school bash on Tuesday. We saw 800 families in our little building with no parking in the back because of the gym, which we're thankful for, but I think we were wrapped around to, I think, down the 4 lane this morning, so maybe not the parade. It'll get better, I hope. So today we started school in the rain with the 800 kids, and I look like a drowned rat still because we've been outside with them. Everything went great. We don't have pre-K kindergarten yet, so that'll change next week with the criers, but the building looks fantastic. If you see any of our janitorial staff, just really commend them because that's probably one of the oldest buildings in the county. And everyone talks about how well it's maintained, and it's the maintenance and janitorial crew, and they're absolutely wonderful. But we had a good first day, and we'll just see what the rest of the month holds.
Very good, thank you. Kelly.
I echo everything Jordan said. We had a great first day. Couldn't ask for a better day. Everything looks good in the building. Appreciate the opportunity for us to have SROs in every building this year. I think that's going to be a blessing on many fronts. My first year in 22 years, 17 I think in admin. I'm not really sure how long I've been in admin, something like that. But I've only lost one student this year. So I hope we keep going. Our numbers are up. It's good. I'm all about bringing them in as long as I have room, but y'all are gonna have to build me a middle school and running out of space. Can't share with Stacy anymore. She's trying to take my building. But I just appreciate everything, and it's gonna be a great year.
Okay, thank you. Stacy.
I'm gonna echo exactly what they said. I think Jason was saying to me, he's like, wow, I never realized how much goes on behind the scenes. So I want to name some of those people and acknowledge their really hard work, and we share some of those staff. But Cliff, Painting, Lackey, Bruce, White, Janet, they've just worked so hard to get everything ready for those kids to walk in the door, and they take such pride in what they do. And just want to make me happy. You know, they're constantly coming back, is that what you wanted? Was that, you know, Chris and Damien hanging stuff and just coming when I needed them to hang signs. I want to thank my guidance counselor. We did freshman orientation. We had the whole side of the gym full of parents and freshmen and transfers, scheduling. We just continue to have more and more parent participation in that, so it's really exciting. Letting them know that we want them to be a part of what we're doing. Melissa has put together an amazing schedule this year and has worked very, very hard at that. We're kind of in our 3rd year and hopefully getting some things down a little bit better that were struggles in the beginning. So I just want to say a big thank you to Melissa, and also to Jason Perry, Dr. McCart, Highland, for all the work they've done with our safety and getting us prepared, having clear procedures for what we do in situations, and being super proactive to keep our kids safe. So I just want to thank them, and it was a good first day. So we're excited, and for the first time as an administrator, we are fully staffed at the high school, and that is, I never knew until, you don't know what you don't know how it feels when you've never had that. So this is a great day, so.
She had it for me. She's like, it's the best day.
Thank you all. You do such a good job, you and your whole faculty and staff. Linda.
Over here.
I see you now.
We were awarded the, practice transformation and extension grant. We've been working on this, well, I started working on it back in February when I knew the ELC grant would expire. ELC has, funded our school nurses one per, every clinic, and so I knew that that was going to run out, June 30th. So, we were awarded the project, Healthy Students, Better Learners for a Thriving Community in the amount of $485,577. The project is designed to involve our nurses in offering wraparound services in our school clinics and also promoting healthy lifestyle changes. So we're really excited about that. We should be getting our contract here soon. We know that our nurses see somewhere between 700 and 1,200 students every single month, and that's a lot of students. They administer medicines, injections, inhalants. They communicate with doctors' offices and provide health plans for our students. So they are critical for the care of our students. Another thing that I want to talk a little bit about is Miss Kathy and her school nutrition program. I don't ever remember school nutrition being so wonderful, and I'm just really going to toot her horn just a little bit, so to speak. This year, she has made headlines with 282,306 meals that she has distributed this summer in her summer feeding. That is a lot of meals. She's also obtained the No Kid Hungry grant that provided $34,000 to help us with our second chance breakfast every morning that the kids really love. And breakfast is so important when we talk about controlling the childhood obesity rate and making sure that students have breakfast every single morning. So she's done a great job with that. Another thing that is really close to my heart that I just love that she has gotten this year again is the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Grant. This grant is worth over $43,000. It will give our kids access to fresh fruits and vegetables that they may not be able to try otherwise. Other things that Miss Kathy has done is she is adding soft serve yogurt in her cafeteria, low sodium Lunchables, fresh milk dispensers, and boneless wings with a sauce bar for middle and high school students. So she has a lot of great initiatives going on, and I want to tell you, grants are a lot of work, and so she's written 2 very important grants and also has a lot of these other things that she is juggling as well. School safety and security is also something that we have worked on all summer. Mr. Perry and I and all the principals have worked very hard with tabletop drills, policies, door entrances, you name it, and it's in our all hazards policy and our plan, and you will have a copy of that on your zip drive. The all hazards plan is specific to building entries on page 20. You won't find it being on the policy that we post online because we don't want to advertise that information. We are working to see how we can upgrade with cameras and other security measures with the $55,000 that we will be getting from the Public School Safety Grant. The Oneida Schools Family Resource Center distributed $1,665 in supplies to students for the month of July, and we are still distributing. And we are still giving out backpacks. And that's all I have.
Very good, as usual. And I will comment another thing about Kathy Bucket. She and some of her staff attended a Culinary Institute, and we have the certificates in our packet. So they had on their jackets with the logo on it at our advisory council meeting, and the snacks and food that they served was outstanding. So we're very, very proud of what she and her staff are doing and how that's going to upgrade the meals and the nutrition of our students. Under new business, we have Ms. Teresa Honeycutt here with the Imagination Library.
I want to thank you for allowing me to be here to speak to this moment. We want to thank this Oneida Special School District for the years that they have contributed to the Imagination Library funds here in the county. Without your very generous donation and the Scott County Board of Education's donation, I'm sure this program would have ended years ago. Due to it being more difficult to do fundraising since COVID, we have struggled greatly, and we've had to ask the governor twice since COVID for an emergency bridge gap just for Scott County to continue having Imagination Library. And when Kathy West asked me to be on this board, my first meeting, and she starts talking about money, and I'm like, what do we need money for? The books are free. And she said they're free to the family. What I did not understand was they were not free to the county. So our yearly book bill for 2022 was $14,000. And that has to be raised from within the county to fill those needs. And the governor matches that same amount. So it's a $28,000 bill that we carry half of. Dolly Parton's fabulous organization, Sources, gets the pricing down with the publishers, has built warehouses to house the absolute millions of books that goes out, and pays staffing to handle that, and pays the postage. The postage on those books are normally more than the cost of the book. So our buy-in is 50%. Should we get to the point that we can no longer carry that, as educators in this room, you know that the most vulnerable in our county would be the ones that will suffer the most. You know the importance of having books in the home and how that relates to how they perform in a schoolroom. But it's even more than that. We have children in this county that when that book comes, it may be the only thing that they see coming in that's theirs. It has their name on it. They're important and they are worthy, and that's what those great books bring, in addition to having those much-needed printed words in their home environment. I'm here begging tonight. I'm here to ask this board that if you can at this time or at some time in a future year, if that $2,000 amount could be increased to $3,000 to help us further to meet those needs in the future without having to go to the governor and ask for assistance. So that's why I'm here. Does anyone have any questions for me? We currently have 1,048 children in the county that receive books. We've graduated 6,000, which means they've got to a school age or left the county. And one more thing, I get the emails, you know when you get on those email lists, you get the updates. And we had one that came in from a kindergarten teacher. And she said what she loves the most about Imagination Library is that that book goes out to those new kindergarten students. First day of kindergarten, they know that we're all going. And on that first day of kindergarten, when that teacher brings everyone over to the rug for reading that day, if she's a teacher who incorporates that into her class, and she brings that book up, even the most shyest child on the carpet, when they say, I've got that book. And that child that maybe hasn't spoken that entire day will say, I have that book too. And it doesn't matter whether it's the child in the class from the poorest family or the richest, at that moment, they're all on a level playing ground. They're at the same exact place. And I think that's amazing that we get to be a part of that. And that's it. Did you have a question for me, Kevin? Kevin, I think I might have interrupted you a moment ago. Did you have a question?
Oh, no.
Does anyone else have a question? I'll be happy to.
That's the next one.
We'll put it on the agenda next time. Okay. Thank you very much. I love that program. My granddaughters have been getting books for a long time. Now they're granddaughters, so. Any other business for the board? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Second. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you all.